Thank you. I am going to try to do this without the microphone. If you guys say that I'm not doing well enough, then I will pick up the microphone, but I like to move around. Does that sound okay? Good question. Who is this guy? Oh, okay. Very good. Cranking up you. Here we go. You guys ready? Awesome. So am I. So, who is this guy? I've been up here from time to time, but some of you may not know me. So, my first career was in human resources. And I tell people after 15 years, that's why I didn't have hair anymore. Years and years and years of working with people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s who were acting like 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds who couldn't get along in the sandbox, having to do investigations. If you want to read about some of them, they're in my book. And after a while, I said, forget it. And I felt like poor Captain Picard up there. I have an awesome family that I've been blessed with. That is my wife, who works for the state. On the left, Kim. She and I have been married for 27 years now. And that is my daughter in front. We're making a video for her birthday. So if you're like really good friends of ours, we'll make you a birthday video. This was a little dance that Erin put together. She just graduated Salisbury and is teaching English in Spain right now. And then my son, Colin, is on the right. He just graduated West Virginia, and he's engineering down in Northern Virginia. I have a company called Downset Lead, and we do a lot of really cool things. We like to grow people in organizations. One of my favorite things to do is to take people up to Gettysburg. We have a program, it's a one-day trip called Leadership in the Battlefield. We're doing that next on April 7th, and we've got information on that. I also work for Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses. I do outreach. It's an amazing program. You just heard Michael talk about the success that he had going through there. I can highly recommend it if you are a business owner, and I'll be happy to talk with you about that when we're done. You want to get my attention? Mention seafood. I love to eat bouillabaisse, and then, of course, we have to finish it off with mint chocolate chip ice cream. If you are into the Myers-Briggs or DISC, which is the couple things that I handle that my company teaches, I am an ENTP and an ID, if that means anything to you all. So there's a little bit about me. But let's talk about you, because that's what we're here about, is to talk about you guys, right? And what is it that you can do to crank up your influence, to crank up your confidence, to crank up, gosh, I love being me and what I have to do when I wake up in the morning. So this is kind of timely because we are the beginning of a new year, 2023, and everybody makes what? Goals. Everyone makes their goals, their annual New Year's resolutions, right? And how good are we at those usually? But I have found what I feel is a panacea for, I'm going to say 80% of the world's problems. And that's what I want to share with you today. And it has worked for me really, really well. But let's find out specifically for you. And if you want to grab a piece of paper or pull out your phone and like take a little note or two, that would be good. You don't have to. I'll be more than happy to go over details one-on-one with you when we're done talking. But here's what I'm going to suggest that you do in your head right now for the next couple of minutes, okay? I want you to pick 2 goals. I want you to pick 1 professional goal, and I want you to pick 1 personal goal, okay? Put that in your head. You can write it down. You put it on your phone. I don't care. I'm not going to be looking to see whether you are actually doing this or checking your Facebook feed. It's your time. You can do what you want. But I want you to pick 1 personal and 1 professional goal, okay? Then I want you to think, why did I pick that goal? Probably because it's something that's been on your mind for a while, and it's something you want to work on, something you want to improve, and that's great. But it's important to know really why you picked that goal. The most important question in the world is 1 word, 3 letters. Why? If you are running a business, if you are managing people, if you are leading people, they will much more willingly follow you if you tell them why you are doing something. Guys, we're going to go take that hill. are a bunch of really nasty people up there with guns, Sergeant. Well, here's why we need to do it. Oh, okay. That makes sense. I guess, we'll do that then. Folks, we have to get this newsletter out by the end of the month. Why? We just did one last week. Because very special situation, boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay, yeah, we should definitely do that. Always want to know why you're doing something. There's a really good practice that I call the toddler challenge. Anybody here has ever had a toddler in their house? What is the question? Why? Why? And you're just like, but they are doing what we all should be doing. They're drilling down. They're trying to learn. Their brains are just little things, and they're growing. And if we want them to become awesome people, we need to explain to them, this is why. Because that's what big boys and girls do. That is the difference between good and bad, because that's what grandma likes. Okay? So you've got this goal in your head, and I would really recommend that if you really want to get down to what's driving you, is you do this toddler drill down of 5 whys. Has anybody ever had that in their family? Why? But why? Here's an example, okay? I want to book $200,000 this year. Sounds like a pretty decent goal. So, why? Because it seems like a good number. That's kind of vague. Why? Because that's the level that I consider successful. Okay, we're getting somewhere. You consider 200,000 booking successful. Why? Because I want to have financial security. I know if I've got 200,000 in bookings, I will be better off than I am now. Okay, why? Because I'm tired of having to worry about the future. I've got a lot on my hands. I'm a single parent, and it's getting real. Why? Because the future scares me. Does that sound real? Yeah, that's real. Okay? So we've got this lofty goal, 200,000 in bookings. But the real reason is because I'm afraid of what's going on. I'm afraid of what's going to happen. This is reality. Let's take a look at another goal. I want to go to Italy for Christmas. Who doesn't want to get, anybody want to go to Italy for Christmas? Let's go. I was lucky enough to get there this past year, and it's awesome. There is not one ugly looking person in Italy. I was even looking at the guys. Like, oh my God, he's good looking. I want to go to Italy for Christmas. Why? Because I want to have a special holiday. Who doesn't? That sounds awesome, doesn't it? Let's go and have a special holiday. Why? Because I'm tired of the holidays have become what they've become. Yeah, I can kind of get that. But why have you gotten tired of what the holidays have become? Because I'm getting tired of the same old family traditions. It's always over to grandma's. Grandma always makes roast beef. The roast beef's dry. Cousin Jerry's there, and Jerry never shuts up about how great Jerry is and blah, blah, blah. So I'm getting tired of this, okay? Why? Because it's no longer special. I get that. It's getting old. Why? Because my parents are gone. I'm an orphan, unfortunately. I lost both my parents 2008, 2016, and it's been tough. And for those of you who have lost someone special, the holidays get difficult, don't they? Like, I need something to be special. So going to Italy may be really cool. It is. But we need to figure out the why is because I really miss my parents, and I need to get in touch with my parents somehow. My mom was Sicilian. I know if I go to Catania, I know if I visit some family, I may only need to do it once, but I'll feel mom, and that'll be a good thing. Does this make sense? It is an awesome drill down. The good news is I haven't even told you the secrets to figuring out how this 80% of figuring out life, okay? This is just a really good exercise. And this is something that you can do for yourself. It's something that you can do for your business. It's something that you can do for your workers. If your worker comes to you and they really are having issues, the best way that you can get them over is to have a sit down with them, show that you care, and ask them why, or tell them why, depending on the situation. All right. So one of the two things that I can recommend to you is getting an accountability partner. Does anybody here have an accountability partner? Awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I'm going to recommend that by the time we leave here today, in the front of your mind, you're thinking, who can be my accountability partner? What is that exactly, Rod? Well, let me tell you. As Kathleen mentioned, I have a book out. It's called Downset Lead. The name of the book actually came before the name of the company. This was a book that I had in mind from oh my gosh, let me think. I started working for London Fog. That was kind of like my first real job in HR in 1991. You guys can figure out, okay, so Rod's really that old? Didn't look that old. About 1991, I was working for London Fog. Awesome company, awesome job, because I got to fly all over the country and do investigations on knuckleheads. And so, I'm 23 years old. I'm going up to Ellsworth, Maine, which is just outside of Cadillac Mountain. I'm flying out to Seattle. I'm flying down to Texas. I'm loving life, right? And so I'm taking down notes of all of the investigations, changing the names to protect the guilty, of all the things. And I'm like, I'm going to write a book when I get a little bit older. And I just had this collection of all these different stupid investigations I had to run. I got really good. At the end of my HR career, I also got a little bit jaded. But I would say, hey, Ken, before I fire you, I got one question for you. What were you thinking? And Ken would be like, well, I was thinking this, and boom, 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 like kind of explaining everything. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't save you. So that was going to be my book. But as I was writing it through the years, as I was collecting it and beginning to kind of write it out, it dawned on me that this was really more about leadership. And so I started throwing in, okay, this is it's bad leadership that led to me having to fly out here, do this investigation, possibly fire somebody. And so years are going by, and I'm kind of spending time writing this out a little bit. I'm getting married. I'm having fun in my 20s. 30 comes, we start having some kids. We start raising kids. I'm doing a little bit of writing. Kids are growing up. I'm coaching soccer. I'm doing a little bit of writing, but the book's not really getting anywhere. COVID comes, and I'm like, now would be a good time for me to actually take all of this stuff and write the book. That was one of the silver linings of the pandemic for me. But I was still having issues. So I'm talking to this one friend that I had made a few years ago, who is like, he's one of these beautiful mind people. His mind wanders and goes down rabbit holes and pulls out all kinds of really cool stuff. And he's like, have you ever thought of this way? And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. And so we were just talking, and he said, what's going on in your life? And I said, I'm having trouble. I got to get this book out. I believe that everybody has at least one book in them. Everybody here has a book in them. I can't get the book out of me. He's like, tell you what, he's like, let's talk once a week, and we'll figure out how to help you do this. And I'm like, great. He's like, that's him right there, Rob Orlando. Rob is an amazing guy. If you want to meet an amazing guy, go look up Rob Orlando on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to introduce you to him. And he's like, let's set up he calls it a running partner meeting. So every Monday at 8 a.m., he and I are on the phone, and we're talking about what do we need to tackle next. And if it's something in particular, he keeps me on task. I'm like, this guy, I've got this, I've got that. He's like, when are you going to make time for this, Rod? I'm like, you're right. And so my question to you, you're working on that one thing, on that one goal that we just put down on a piece of paper that you just emailed to yourself.